Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to do some more ballistics testing, but today we're going to use the 5.7x28mm. We have three different types of commercial ammunition, the most common ammunition you're going to find on the shelves at gun stores around the United States. And then we have one box of some specialty ammunition from Elite Ammunition, and it's the Protector V. It's a 33 grain hollow point projectile that's moving at about 2,150 feet per second out of a handgun. That's advertised on their website. So we have some of the This is some of the SS198LF high performance ammunition from FN. This is some of their standard 40 grain ammunition that you'll find. And then we have some good old fashioned American Eagle 40 grain ball ammunition. The reason we're using the commercial stuff is because honestly guys, most people that run out and buy a 5.7 for carry, they're going to pick up the ammunition they can find at their local gun store, be that Cabela's or your local friendly gun dealer, and that is going to produce this type of ammunition. You're not going to find this ammunition on the shelves at very many gun stores around the country. You're only going to find it online, and even when you do want to go shopping for it, like right now I just got off the EA's website, Elite Ammunition's website, and the ammunition was sold out and unavailable. So, and that's not uncommon. You'll typically place an order for this ammunition and wind up waiting weeks, sometimes months before the order gets filled. So in all practical purposes, most people are going to choose from what's commercially available for the 5.7 if they're going to carry it. Just as a comparison, we have some high velocity 9mm ammunition. This is from Civil Defense. It's Liberty Ammunition, Civil Defense ammo. It's a 9mm plus P. It's I think it's it's a 50 grain projectile out of a handgun doing 2,000 feet per second. So we're going to see how that stacks up to the 5.7 and our test medium, which is our good old fashioned watermelon. So we will load up the magazine, start getting the test set up. We're going to do a slow motion camera on the watermelon, and we're going to see what type of hydrostatic shock we'll get out of the 5.7 ammunition using the Ruger 5.7 handgun. And that's a Vortec red dot sight on top. It's the Venom. And then we're just using a standard Beretta M9A3, and they have about the same length barrel, which is why we've chosen them. All right, so with all that being said, let's load up some magazines, get everything set up, and see what type of testing results we get this afternoon. It should prove to be very interesting. We would like to thank our friends at Big Daddy Unlimited for helping to make this and other videos possible. If you'd like to help us out, swing by the BDU website, and just for 99 cents, you can try out their service for 1 month. And they're basically like the Sam's Club of the online world, so check them out. If you would like to stay a member, go by militaryarms.org. There's a big link right at the top of the website, and you can stay a member for 20% off every month going forward. So please check them out. Let's start off our testing with the most generic ammunition that you're likely to find in your local gun store. This is the American Eagle 40 grain ball ammo. This is by far the most common 5.7 that I find at local stores in our area. Of course, depending on where you're at, that could change. So we're going to load 1 round of the ball ammunition into the Ruger 5.7's magazine. Chamber that round. The watermelon's about 10 yards away. And now, let's see what this little ball round does to a watermelon. Made it leak. So taking a look at this watermelon, again from about 10 yards, you can see our entrance of that 40 grain ball round, and it looks like the round most likely destabilized and started to tumble, and it blew out the back of the watermelon. Not too bad. Now, why we're using watermelons? The human body varies in water content. On average, the human body is about 60% water. You have like 64% water in your skin, and the human lungs are about 83% water. And watermelons are in that high 90% range, depending on the watermelon. I mean, just all humans are different, all watermelons are different. But if you say the human lungs are around 80% water, these are going to be around 85, 90% water, depending on the watermelon. So that's why we're shooting watermelons. It's going to give us an idea of if you get a torso hit on an animal or a bad guy and you hit him in the lungs, this is the type of damage you can expect, somewhat. Not scientific, but it gives us kind of a fun representation of what might actually occur. So there is some scientific data in here, but this is mostly for fun. But again, there's certain things in these types of videos that you can pull out that will be useful in helping you to determine what type of ammunition you might choose to carry in your defensive handgun. All right, so we'll set this one aside, we'll reset the test up, and we'll take on the watermelon with a different type of 5.7 ammo. Next up, we have some FN USA 5.7x28. It's a 40 grain VMAX blue tip round, and that's what we're going to shoot into our watermelon this time around. Let's see what the old VMAX does in terms of ballistic performance. Dang, interesting. So that little 40 grain VMAX round hit right here, and it did something the ball round didn't do. It blew open the front of the watermelon, and then in the back you can see cracks going all the way around. This watermelon just wants to come apart. And if we can look inside there, the hole itself that it exited from doesn't look as big as what the ball round left. But if you take a look at the cracking in the outer structure of the watermelon and then kind of look inside, you can see that's pretty much turned to mush inside there. It's really done some damage inside the watermelon. Pretty interesting results. All right, let's step it up one. I think we have some of the 198 FN red box ammo. Let's see what that ammo does to the watermelons. Next up is the SS198LF lead-free. It's a 27 grain projectile. It's green tip. The box is marked for law enforcement and military use only. This is the stuff that many 5.7 owners hold in very high regard in terms of ammunition. Has a green tip on it. Let's see what this stuff does to our watermelon 10 yards away. Whoa! Didn't cycle the action. Left the spent case in there. So the 5.7 may not like this stuff in terms of cycling. The downrange results, wow. So that round that we fired, the 198, SS198, did not cycle the Ruger 5.7. I fired it out of my P90 SBR, and I fired it out of my 5.7. It cycles okay. We'll double check it on the Ruger. That might be a fault of the Ruger. But if you take a look at the downrange results, pretty impressive. Now it's a much lighter bullet. I was aiming here and it entered here, so it hit just a little bit high. And the bullet definitely arced upwards. It was setting like this. So it looks like the bullet changed path, kind of arced and blew the whole top of the watermelon off, split it in half, and really turned this whole area into mush. Pretty violent. Pretty impressive. All right. Now let's step it up one notch even more. Let's try some of that specialty ammo and see what we get. All right, guys. The Elite ammunition. It is the Protector V. It's a 33 grain projectile. It is a hollow point. It has an advertised muzzle velocity out of the handgun of 2,150 feet per second. Let's see what this does downrange. I'm really looking forward to seeing the results. Wow. We're going to have to retest that one, because that hit like 2 inches high. All right, guys, so here we go with round two with the Protector V 33 grain projectile doing 2,150 feet per second. Again, as I'd mentioned, it seems the faster we go with the projectile, even at 10 yards, it's radically changing the point of impact, moving it upwards with the handgun. So now we're going to aim lower. The gun was zeroed to the 40 grain ball that we opened the video with. So now we're going to have to aim low to try to get a center of mass shot. Here we go. Perfect. This is really interesting, guys. So here's where the round hit, right there. So the watermelon was sitting like this. I held here, hit here, which was pretty much center of mass, but take a look at the back side of the watermelon. It just laid this watermelon open like this and pretty much turned the insides to gel. Lots of hydrostatic shock. The bullet, if it made it out, just barely made it out of the watermelon. You can kind of see right here where the bullet came in. See the hydrostatic shock, and you can kind of see a path where the bullet maybe exited at low velocity right here. Wow, pretty interesting results. Let's set it aside. Let's see what 9mm does. All right, guys, here's a 9mm specialty round. This is from Liberty Ammunition. It is the Civil Defense line. It's a 50 grain plus P 9mm non-lead bullet, and it has an advertised velocity of 2,000 feet per second. Well, let's see what this bad boy does to our watermelon at 10 yards. Wow. Not surprisingly, that was a pretty violent demonstration of hydrostatic shock. It blew the watermelon apart. You can see where the round came in. We already knew that the ammunition shot slightly to the right of point of aim. We took that into account. Round came in, and it really doesn't look like there's any type of exit in the major pieces we have left. We see this really big tissue damage area, lots of hydrostatic shock. There's a hole there. It doesn't look like, and it didn't. Look at that. See, it didn't look like the round made it out. There's a piece of the round right there. So it looks like that round exploded inside the watermelon. There was not a defined exit hole, and I'm finding pieces of that lead-free round inside the wreckage that was the watermelon. Not great at penetration. That's the trade-off when you use specialty rounds like that in 9mm, but it did cause quite a bit of hydrostatic shock to the watermelon. You be the judge whether or not you want more penetration or not. We have a couple watermelons left, and we have some 147 grain gold dots. We're going to see what those do. Because we have a couple of extra watermelon laying around, I decided to break out some 147 grain gold dots. This is a standard lead bullet. It's a very popular carry load in terms of the 147 grain hollow point. And we're going to see what this ammunition does to our watermelon at 10 yards. Now, I did not confirm zero with this ammunition and this handgun, so hopefully we hit somewhere near the center. All right, here we go with the Beretta. Wow. Again, not really surprising the results because I've shot so many 147 grain rounds into ballistics gel, so the hydrostatic shock that we saw was pretty impressive. You can see a lot of internal damage to the watermelon. We definitely have a clear exit wound of the pieces that are left here. You can see where it exited right there. So the bullet came through, caused quite a bit of hydrostatic shock and damage, and exited, giving me the penetration they looked for. And this kind of goes back to what I've said before in past videos. Specialty ammunition like the Liberty ammo, I don't really like. I don't like those super lightweight non-lead bullets out of 9mm because they really don't give you the penetration that you really need to dig in deep to get to a vital organ if you're shooting through, you know, leather and clothing and potentially car doors or some other barrier obstacle. It's always better, in my opinion, to go with the heavier bullet, and the 147 grain gold dot did not change my mind in terms of its performance this afternoon. It just confirmed the fact that I like 147 grain gold dots. All right, next up, let's see what the 5.7 will do. We're going to use the SS198 LF because we think that that gave us some pretty good performance this afternoon. We're going to do a meat target where we put ribs front and back of a watermelon and see what type of performance we get out of that SS198 lead-free round. All right, let's get that set up. All right, guys, we have our version of the meat target all set up. We have ribs and meat in the front, ribs and meat in the back, and our watermelon in the center. This is tribute to Paul Harrell, a great YouTuber who does a meat target of his own, which is constructed differently than this one, but it certainly gave us the idea for setting it up as we have here this afternoon. So the goal will be to hit in the middle with the lead-free SS198, have it travel through. If it travels through in a straight line, we'll see if it exits and what type of damage it does to the ribs, the meat, and the lung material, in this case the watermelon, in between. All right, let's get her set up and hope for a good shot. All right, here we go, guys. The SS198 LF lead-free. This, again, is the 27 grain green tip ammunition. It is the Holy Grail, gave us really good performance out here this afternoon. When I say it's a Holy Grail, it's what a lot of people that shoot this caliber really tend to like, and I can see why it did pretty good this afternoon. So now let's see what it does to our meat target. All right, guys, so this was really interesting. Aimed at the bottom of the tape, hit right at the very top of the tape. You can see where the hole went in here, where the bullet went in. Looks like it hit a rib. On the inside, the lung material, the watermelon, you can see it cracked it open. If you come around to the back, there's no separation of the watermelon back here, and there's clearly no exit hole from the round. So there is a bullet inside this watermelon somewhere. All right, let's see if we can find ourselves a bullet. There you can see where the round came through. Looks like actually it may have went between a rib. Here's our entrance. All right, now that we have the ribs off, you can see where it hit there in the front. Clearly have no exit in the rear. Let's see if we can find what's left of that bullet inside. Look at that hole inside there. Pretty nasty hole. Not the best penetration. Looks like it made it almost all the way to the back through here. So you can see where that hydrostatic shock took place inside. Where is that bullet at? So we just noticed something. Down here, trapped inside is, that's the green tip. You can see the green right there on the tip. Jason said he thought he saw a tiny hole in the bottom of the watermelon that I missed. It didn't go through the backside rib, but it looks like it hooked down and it just fell out and just happened to get caught in the ribbing on the shelf work here. And there it is. So now we have a recovered bullet. That's the reason we couldn't find it in the watermelon. It didn't disintegrate. Now they say it's lead free. but you can see some sort of metallic base to it there. But clearly, that's a green tip on it. So that's the bullet we're looking for. That's pretty cool. Good catch, Jay. So what do we see in today's testing? Well, I'm gonna let you guys be the judge of the results for yourself. Nothing is more irritating than having somebody on the internet talk to you and tell you what you need to do or what you should do based upon the evidence presented. Now, based upon my own experiences and what I prefer in terms of carry, I saw the penetration that I'm looking for out of the ball ammunition, but we saw the hydrostatic shock out of the specialty lighter weight ammunition in terms of how much damage it did while it was inside that watermelon. Opinions will vary in terms of how much penetration is the right amount of penetration. The FBI will tell you 12 to 18 inches of ballistics gel, which would be denser than what we're shooting at here in most regards, especially with regards to the watermelon. And other folks would say, no, what we did here is plenty of penetration. It's going to get inside the chest cavity and it's going to do all the damage, and that's perfect. There's nobody, getting hurt downrange from the bullet traveling through. So that's a debate in and of itself. Me, I tend to lean more towards rounds that will give me deeper penetration into the target and make its way through more obstacles. And so in the case of the 5.7, you're going to see that with the ball ammunition, not so much with the specialty ammo. The 198 LF, we saw that it just barely made it through the watermelon, kind of hooked down, just fell literally on the table, the magic bullet, where we were doing our testing. And that to me just isn't all that impressive. So I'll let you guys be the judge of which of these 5.7 rounds you would choose to carry. But when you're carrying something like the 5.7, the type of ammunition you choose is going to be critical in terms of the performance and what you can expect to achieve. With regards to the 9mm, I have no use for these lightweight, fast bullets, and I will always side with something like 147 grain gold dot. All right, guys, I look forward to your comments down below. If you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms channel so we can continue to bring you information like this, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. There's a link down below. Click that link and consider becoming part of our Patreon family. Also, right here on YouTube, there's a little join button right underneath the video player. Click that join button and consider supporting us right here on YouTube, because YouTube demonetized us years ago. And last but not least, guys, please swing by and check out coppercustom.com. Thanks for 12 years of support. We'll talk to you guys soon.